Hello, friends and family. It's day 87, cycle 5, day 2. If you're new, I'm Jen, and if you've been before, thank you so much for joining us again. Welcome, one and all, to my quest to crush aggressive diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, DLBCL. ICD code 83.39. We're using the R-EPOCH Immunotherapy chemotherapy to crush Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Let's get into it. We'll start with a quote, which I'm dedicating to my husband who loves rhymey poems and songs. Not really my ballywick, but we're rolling with it. Some days are better, some days are worse. Look for the blessing instead of the curse. Be positive, stay strong, and get enough rest. You can't do it all, but you can do your best. The author is unknown. If I thought he wrote poems or quotes, I would say that one I would give to him. But I don't, he does not. Even though it was rhymey and very distracting to me, I guess the core message is every day is a blessing, which you know is my position. And, looking for the positives versus the negatives, I think is a valid methodology, as you all know. And staying strong and resting, all things that I stand behind. So even though it was very rhymey, the message was there, and I decided to go with it. Today, overall, my day was not bad. A very strong start, although tiring with robotics. Those young ladies are just fabulous. I'm so proud of the effort and the work they've done. And they're the future leaders, and very exciting. All right, so I don't really have much more on my daily thought. Every day is a blessing. We're doing our best, and we're resting. So these are the things I'm doing. I'm focusing on. As always, I'm being positive as best I can. So let's move on to how am I doing. I'm good, but I'm tired. I am starting to feel some of the symptoms, but not overwhelming. Certainly doable. As far as I know, no angel deliveries today. On the doctor news, Nurse Lana came today at, it was midday, 1-ish, 1:45, something like that. And, public service announcement in the United States. By the time you're watching this video, your clock should have sprung forward an hour if you're in any area that does daylight savings time. Just let you know. So tomorrow, my bag will be handled in the 1:32 range. She said she might have to move it a little bit because she's got a lot of people that are falling around 2 p.m. tomorrow. So I said, fine, whatever we got to do. I'm certainly not going to be sad if I have to have little less chemotherapy. Let me just put that out there. Okay. The other thing, which we'll talk about in symptoms and statistics, is my fluid in and fluid out. So I did some research, medically wise, on how does your body process IV fluids versus oral. And I could not find anything concrete, but I also waited till late in the day. So maybe I'll do some more research tomorrow or look for some videos where they explain it a little better. I did find a lot of documentation that argued in both directions for different conditions, but nothing that really told me about the difference in the way that your body processed it. One benefit to oral versus IV was that it was more difficult to become hyperanemic, I think is the word, where you get too much fluids when you do oral than when you do IV. Like, medically they could give you too much fluid. But, the main difference is the way that it's processed in your body. Like, when you drink it, it's basically processed in the large intestines, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I gotta go back and do some more research. But for IV, it's coming in through your blood, obviously. And then the whole process of osmosis and how it gets through to your systems and so forth and so on. So I have not really conclusively figured out the difference. There is some debate. Like, for everybody, if I take a pill and you take a pill, the same pill, how much you ingest of it because of the way your systems work, how fast or slow your digestive system works. And so I guess the same could be said for fluids to some extent. But then you look at IV fluids, unclear. So the reason I went down this little rabbit hole was because my ins and outs were disparate again today, but I had a fair amount of fluids by IV versus oral, so I didn't know, does that IV fluid not reflect for a couple days? Could also be I started prednisone yesterday morning, so that, some water is being retained. It's not going to come out, the way it had been. So I don't really know the answer, but still looking into that one. That interests me. I'm going to continue to look. All right, so let's look at my to-do list and my to-do list. So to-do list, I'm still doing my chemo. I am still hydrating. I did rest today. I didn't sleep a whole lot last night. We'll look at those numbers later, but I did have at least 2 pretty good naps. Talked about the bag change already. I did practice editing for my new phone. Not sure if I'm going to get tonight's video by the new phone. If it looks a little different, I apologize, but I'll do my best. I did load the dishwasher. That was on my would like to do list. I straightened the kitchen, which I didn't include in my list at all, but Nurse Lana was coming. I had to do a little something because the counters were covered in dishes. It was gross. And I also put together my Porridge Plus. Here's a little picture. So that's enough for a week. And I did have Porridge Plus this morning for breakfast or lunch a little later. I guess it was closer to lunchtime because I did the robotics meeting first. So, that was ta-da. Also, I was able to walk a little bit, maybe half a mile-ish on charity miles, which was good. There's 16 of us, and collectively we've done 586 miles. Excellent job, team. Keep on moving. Okay, so my must-to-do for tomorrow. Chemo, which is difficult not to do since it's already attached and going. Hydrate. Rest. I would like to sleep in. It's my only day to sleep in for I'm supposed to go to work for Monday through Wednesday right now. So I want to sleep in tomorrow as best I can. Prednisone permitting. And then I have a bag change with Nurse Lana, but that's going to be around 2 tomorrow afternoon, between 1:30 and 2. I'd like to do some crocheting, and I would like to do more practice video editing or do my video editing on my cell phone. So we'll see how that goes. So that's on my ta-da and my to-do list. And I think that's all I have for you. So if you just came for story time, thank you so much for joining today, and we will see you tomorrow. And we're going to get into the symptoms and statistics. Have a great night. Great day. Sorry. See you tomorrow. All right. So let's start with daily symptoms and statistics. Nausea. Yes. The nausea has returned, sadly, but I was able to manage it just by my little eating hacks. I'm staying well hydrated, as was my plan, which we'll see in a minute, how much I took orally. But I did feel a couple times nauseous, and there was one time at least where I was like in a rush to get some food cooked so that we didn't have an emergency. No mouth pain yet, no teeth pain, no throat pain. My weight is up. It was X 6.9. I don't remember what it was yesterday, but I think it was 6.05 or so. So it went up quite a bit. But as I mentioned earlier, my ins and outs were quite disparate, which would totally explain it. So I drank 120 ounces, which is 3.5 liters. And I had my IV, which I think I alluded to yesterday, just checking my paper here, 1.25 liters. So that's a total of 4.75 liters that was in. About a third of it by IV, right? A little more than a third, a little less than a third of it by IV. My out was only 3.5, which exactly matches my oral in, which led me down the rabbit hole of, does the body process IV fluids different than it processes oral fluids? But I didn't get a clear answer, at least in my brain, and maybe I'm a little muddled. But I'll keep looking into that, and I'll get back to you when I figure that out. Or maybe I'll ask somebody that knows that's smarter than me. However, I will mention, and we'll get there in a little bit, that I did have wet night sweats last night, pretty significant, plus just breathing, which that could account for almost a liter. But since my weight is up, I don't think that's the case. So that's unclear to me, right? All right, sleep. overnight I had 5 hours and 45 minutes. Earlier this evening, I had a nap for 1 hour and 32 minutes, and then I just had another nap that did not register. So I don't know if that means it was less than an hour or I was tossing and turning, what the story was there. My movement was 5,100 steps plus restorative poses. My vitals were fine, even for Nurse Lana, and I did notice that my resting heart rate has come down. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I was sitting on the couch before, it was about 85, so that's still not in the 60s and 70s like I usually am, but you know. Let's see. Neuropathy. I'm going to say no today. Feeling pretty good. Hair loss is status quo. Did you guys see the new video I put at the front? I did. I'm thinking I should add some more pictures because I wanted the pictures to kind of show like the progression of the hair. And I think we need a few more. But I did day 1, day 18, and day 75. So maybe like a day 50 or 40 something would be nice just to have kind of an interim. But you could definitely see there was a progression on the hair loss. I think when you look at it every day, you don't notice. But definitely day 18, probably I shaved my hair a little early. But it was, I think you remember, it was falling out in my hands and it was bothering me. So I took it out. But it probably could have stayed on my head for a little longer before it was totally out. But then you just look at day 75, and there's no question. So maybe I need to look for something that's in the 20s, 30s, or 40s and plop it in there to do a comparison. Any case, I digress. My skin is about the same, I think. Not feeling anything particularly different. Nose clots, no. Night sweats, yes. Headache, no. Fatigue, yes. I needed those naps. Now, I don't know if that's because I got up a little earlier, and it was a busy morning because of robotics, and then I cleaned and did the dishwasher and then Nurse Lana. And then I didn't get right into bed afterwards. I'm not sure what was going on, but I had energy then, so I was up doing other things. But I do feel fatigued today. And then red skin is back for sure. I feel it here and here across my forehead. And then chemo brain. The red skin's a little concerning to me because some of the documentation said that the red skin may go to places that your skin's been damaged by the sun in the past. And I'm pretty meticulous about my sunscreen, but I'm noticing some places that concern me. Now, it could be, and that seemed a little debatable. Like some people are just like, no, it just makes your skin red. So I'm not sure if it has anything to do with sun damage or if it's just the way it goes, but I hope it's not sun damage. And I did see the dermatologist multiple times this year for some other issues, but one of them, I did have them do like a full body check because, I don't assume anything. And believe it, and actually skin cancer does run in my family a bit. So I did have them check me like a whole body check at that time, I think over the summer, about the time I started feeling crummy from lymphoma and didn't know it. All right, well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your love and support. Really very much appreciated. I'm sorry about the energy level today. I'm not feeling it. Maybe I can record the video a little earlier in the day. Or drink some caffeine, one or the other. That'll hype me up. Like I said, it wasn't a bad day. It was a pretty good day overall, but I was just tired. I still feel a little bit tired, even though I took a nap as recently as an hour ago. But, it's just the way it's going to go for now. We're definitely poisoning, and it's cumulative. However, in the big picture, in cycle 4, I was already feeling fairly crummy by day 2. So I'm pretty grateful that I feel okay. I don't feel great, obviously. I'm listening to my body, but it's not horrible, and I can live with it. I'm calling it a blessing, right? It's not as bad as cycle 4. So maybe cycle 5 I'm going to come out ahead. I don't know. And certainly I'd rather have medium crummy, not high crummy, and then get worse, as we did the last time. So it's all good. We'll get there. And I'm fairly confident that day 5 or 6 or 7 is going to knock me down. But I don't know what else to expect there. I think that I will do the IV hydration with the Cytoxin, and that might make a difference. There was also some evidence in the documentation on the hydration that IV hydration could last for a day, 24 hours, they thought. So maybe that's the difference as far as seeing the outs. Like it's just the way it travels from the blood and then out of your body. It takes longer, so it maintains your hydration levels for longer. But it didn't explain that explicitly. It just made a comment. Like, it was more of a nursing comment. You know, when you give IV fluids that can maintain your fluid levels for about a day. But didn't explain why. So I'm still on the hunt for the why. If anybody knows, let me know down below in the comments. And I'm going to keep looking. I gotta know. It's just something that interests me. I can't explain why. In any case, I must be part of being an active participant in my health. Understanding the way hydration works. All right. And if I figure it out, I will, of course, share with you guys. Thank you again for all your love and support. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you. Remember, every day is a gift. Live it. See you tomorrow.